Hello, welcome Raiders. Thanks for coming in. Hope your stream went well, Echo. What I saw looked pretty cool, but yeah. Hope you had a good time. Hope everybody's been having a good time on the raid train. My name's Alice Rajasu. I'm going to be playing some Final Fantasy VI here. I'm going to be doing the Kefka at Narshe speedrun, which is kind of an introductory run. I'm just setting my seed here, so getting the encounter there just told me that, I'm on the right seed and everything, so that'll just help me get good RNG and stuff. You get to have a little General Leo cameo here. Yeah, we're just gonna reset here. We're gonna play through we're gonna let the introductory cutscene play through here, and then we're gonna get started on a run. Yeah, if you've never seen this run before, it's a popular sort of introductory category, or a good racing category for Final Fantasy VI, for the original Super Nintendo version. So if you're interested in maybe trying out RPG speedrunning, this would be one that I'd, highly recommend giving a look. I like it a lot. This is one of my favorite games of all time. First Final Fantasy to kind of have an ensemble cast with female characters in the lead. So that's really, really cool. And sort of a, steampunk setting. Really cutting edge stuff for the time. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this run that I'm going to be doing here. I've been practicing this run for a few months now, and I haven't had the chance to really show it off for an event or anything, so that's really exciting. Yeah, you get this was for 1994. This was peak cinematic video gaming experience here. And I still think it holds up really well. Even if it's pixels, even if it's pretty low res and only 256 colors, I think this game is still really cool. So, right here, I'm going to set the controller to auto-fire, because you get to use turbo controllers for this game, which is super cool. You can use turbo controllers for any speedrun you want, but specifically the leaderboard for Final Fantasy VI on Speedrun.com allows you to use turbo controllers, which is always nice to see. But yeah, we have all of this is before the run. Time does not start until we actually select new game, but we have to go through this now, because if I just select new game without actually watching this scene, then you press new game and then you have to watch it, and your run takes 3 more minutes, so we do it outside the run instead. So we can skip this part though. So I will just hover over new game, and time starts in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so we're starting off in Narshe. This run starts and ends in Narshe. I'll have to do a little bit of menuing. We're going to set the battle speed to the slowest, actually, because that only affects how fast enemies go, and we want the enemies to go slower, so slower battle speed is actually better for the speedrun in this case. We're going to use Bioblast, because that's an attack that hits all enemies. And we're going to have Wedge and Vix run from this battle because they're temporary NPC characters, and we don't want them to gain any levels. We want all the experience to go to the green-haired character here, who's Terra. We want her to gain all the levels here. We specifically want her to get to level 6 by a certain point, because that's going to affect all sorts of experience routing for this game, and in particular, it's going to unlock the suplex ability for Sabin. We are going to be suplexing the train in this run, that's very important, but also we need suplex to be able to activate an important glitch later on. I didn't spend enough time running there, so I was too busy talking. So I'm gonna have to gain a little extra experience. That's fine, it'll just be a little bit slower. Alright, so in this fight, we have Wedge and Vix use Fire Beam. These mammoths in the front prevent you from running, so we want to take out the mammoths before we use Bioblast. Remember to run away this time. It's very important to do this at the beginning of the run. If I was going for PB here, I'd probably reset at this point, but not going to, you know, make us sit through that whole cutscene again, so nor do I want to sit through, like, me trying to find a seed or anything like that. You don't have to do seed manipulation for this run, but it's pretty easy to do, and it does help. Hi, David. Yeah. So... yeah. Yeah, thanks Umbrella Jill for the raid. Really appreciate that. If you're just joining, I'm Alice Rajasu. I'm playing Final Fantasy VI here. I'm doing the Kefka at Narshe speedrun. So Welk here is not too difficult of a boss fight, but I do have to pay attention here. So bear with me a little bit. We want to use Tech Missile. That's Terra's strongest attack here. We want to... You'll see me doing some menuing, like, while attacks are happening. That's just to manipulate the battle timer a little bit. There is a quicker way to get through this fight, but it's really risky, so I'm not doing it. It's possible to kill the snail before the head goes into the shell, but it's difficult and risky, and I'm only able to get it some of the time, so we're just playing it safe here. So just wait for it to pop out, one more Tech Missile, and that should be the fight. I'll throw an Ice Beam there just to be sure. But, yeah, so this is a game that I've been playing for all of my life, but I only started speedrunning a few months ago. But I'm really enjoying the speedrun. The run's about an hour and a half. Like, my PB is about an hour and a half. I would say, like, put the estimate at around an hour and 35. But, yeah, I really enjoy speedrunning this game. There's just so many cool glitches in the original Super Nintendo run. You can do, you know, like the 6-hour glitchless run of this, or you can do, like, a run that's less than an hour that, you know, warps to the credits. The run that I'm doing is a partial game category that has some cool glitches, but it's not too glitchy. Like, you actually get to play the game here. So that's nice. So we'll basically be playing up until the big battle with Kefka that happens, you know, normally a few hours into the game. Again, here it'll be an hour and a half. So we'll just enter a single T for Terra's name. We just shorten the names because it makes the text boxes go faster. Yeah, so, fun fact, so it used to be that the fastest run for this involved using the sketch glitch, where Realm tries to sketch an enemy and misses, and on certain versions of the game it causes the entire game to break. So there was the sketch category that was the fastest, and the no sketch category that was slightly slower than sketch. But what happened was the no sketch category actually became faster than using the sketch glitch. We found just other glitches that were faster than using sketch glitch. So the sketch glitch category is actually basically obsolete now, at least for the time being, unless somebody finds a new route. But yeah, the no sketch is actually technically not the fastest way to beat the game, but one of the fastest categories for this. The fastest is, there was a credit warp where you would get 52 game overs, and that would somehow warp you to the credits. I don't even know how that works, but there's actually a new run that a Japanese runner named Saga came up with, and that, I think, is even like an even faster credit warp now. So that's only on the Japanese version, but it's like a 30-minute run. So really cool what people have been able to do with this game. This run's going to be a little bit easier to understand than any of that. I'm going to be doing stuff that looks mostly normal, but then here and there you'll see kind of an interesting glitch. So right now I'm not running from these fights because I need Terra to gain a certain amount of experience. And here's where I need to grind a couple extra fights. Because we need Terra to hit a certain experience threshold. I may actually pull up the menu and look to see exactly how much experience I'm going to need. Also, I'm going to need to heal. Because dying at this point would be not ideal. Okay, so one more fight. So, levels in this game are determined by, like, the average. When a character joins your party, their level is based on the average of your current party. So right now, Terra is the only party member, so her level is going to determine the next few characters that we get. So I wanted her to be level 6 there, because that means Locke and Edgar are going to be a higher level, and eventually Sabin's going to be a higher level. And we need him to be a higher level for Suplex, we need Edgar to be a higher level for damage reasons. So we do have to do a little bit of grinding, but not too much. So here's a little bit of a cutscene with Kefka, who is the main villain of the game as a whole, and also the main villain of this speedrun category. So technically speaking, Kefka actually joins our party here. So you'll notice on this battle screen, Kefka's gonna kind of enter from the bottom of the screen. And it actually does this by having him added to the party. And there are a couple other scenes later where where they do this. They actually add Kefka to the party, even though he's a villain, just to be able to animate him around the screen and stuff. You'll notice I'm very interested in, like, some of the details of, like, this game, like, how they did certain things technically, because, you know, keep in mind, this is on a Super Nintendo. The Super Nintendo had very little memory. You know, this was one of the biggest games on it, but still, they had to cram a lot of game into a very limited amount of space, and they had to do some interesting things to do that, and that's probably the reason that the glitches that you do see in this game are just, they're very interesting, I think. So this is Locke. Locke is the treasure hunter character in this game. He is not a thief. Do not call him a thief. That is anti-Locke slander. I will be hearing none of it. Yeah, so Locke, you know, his special ability is that he is able to treasure hunt items from enemies, which I never quite understood, like, abilities like that. Like, if somebody has a steal ability in a game, like, why do you need to steal from the enemy that you're just about to kill? You could just take the items from... Anyway. So this is going to be a battle where a bunch of Moogles are going to join us temporarily. Moogles are the absolute best part of Final Fantasy VI. There should be no argument about that fact. Moogles are wonderful, and this is the best part of the game because of that. So we get 3 different parties here. We can switch between them. We're only going to use this one party that is all Moogles. And we're not going to fight any of these enemies that are, like, walking here. They're all trying to attack Terra here. We're just gonna... Well, I missed one, so we'll fight this one, but the rest of them we're walking by. So if I had done that correctly, I would have slipped past this enemy. I was just a little too early or too late there, something. But that's okay. Doesn't take up that much time. And here we are at the boss. So, Mog is the strongest character we have right now. Mog's gonna attack the boss. Kupan's gonna attack the boss. Cuckoo and Kutan are gonna attack the front characters. We're gonna unequip Mog's weapons, so that Edgar can use Mog's weapons. Because Mog is a permanent character later on, but for this speedrun, he's just temporary. So you'll see I lost a little time on my splits because of the extra grinding that I had to do there. But otherwise, things are going just fine here. I will be off my step route for the next little bit, but if I do things right from here on out, I should be able to get back on it, because there's a point where I save the game and reset and reload, and that'll reset the step route. The step route isn't super important for this run. There are a couple of spots where it helps, but it's not critical. So now our party's going to be just Locke and Terra. The Moogles stay behind in Narshe for the time being. So we're just going to head south to Figaro Castle. And in Figaro Castle, we're going to be introduced to a couple more characters, and we're going to meet up with Kefka again. So, Figaro Castle, the king of Figaro Castle is Edgar, and he has a brother, Sabin, who's going to be suplexing the train later. They are kind of opposite personalities. So Edgar is this, very politically scheming, master of machinery, shameless flirt. We'll just shorten his name to Ed. Ed, his special ability in battle is that he uses tools. His special ability outside of battle is that he is a tool. Very, into machinery and also the machinery of politics, I suppose. But he's supposedly allies with the evil empire, but he's actually behind the scenes. He's working with the good guys. So Edgar, he is a hero. He's just, kind of the scheming political type of hero. So we're going to learn about his brother Sabin here. Sabin is the total opposite of Edgar. Sabin is a big, muscular himbo. He sees a problem, and he's not thinking politics or machinery or any of that. He just wants to punch it. And, I respect that. If someone's evil, you should just punch them, right? So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and name him S. Just because that's short. And now that we have him named, we can go back to Edgar and do a little bit more cutscening here, and then we'll get in a boss fight. So what's going to happen here is we're going to get a little visit from Kefka here. Kefka's job right now is to track down Terra. Terra is like the only character who can use real magic right now. The Empire has magic technology, but Terra is like naturally gifted in magic. So the Empire is sending their troops after Terra because they don't want the rebels to, gain her as an ally. So Kefka is barging into the castle, and he's gonna demand that they hand over Terra, and Edgar's not gonna do it. Edgar's, keeping her hidden and keeping her safe, and that's good stuff. Kefka is... It's kind of interesting. Kefka is like this very evil, serious villain, but early on in the game, he's kind of almost comic relief. They definitely show how evil he is, but, he always kind of gets his comeuppance in the early going. And I mean, spoilers, he does at the end, too, because your party, if you beat the game, you beat Kefka, but... Kefka says funny things like, there's sand on my boots, and son of a submariner, and he has some excellent quotes in this version of the game. Yeah. So, you know, Terra's having a lot of, she has amnesia, and she's having a lot of, anxiety and concern over, you know, which way is right. Should she join the rebels? Should she be with the Empire? What should she do? Locke tells her to sleep on it, and overnight, Kefka comes back, and he sets the whole castle on fire. So that's not great. So he, you know, once again barges in and demands hand over Terra, or we're just going to burn the whole thing down. And fortunately, Edgar has a plan for this. And that plan is to run away. And Kefka just kind of laughs at him, like, shameful, you're running away! But there's a little more to this plan than just running away. Because, again, we talk about Edgar being a master of machinery. It turns out this whole castle is a machine that can just burrow itself underground. And I guess putting it underground puts out the fire. Like, you don't need to think about this too hard, but yeah, so the whole castle just burrows itself in the desert, and Kefka's just kind of left out here in the sand, and it's pretty awesome, really. So he has a couple of Magitech soldiers chase us down, and this is boss music, but this is not too bad of a fight here. So we're going to show off Edgar's tools ability. He's going to use the auto crossbow. We're going to equip the shield on Locke while he does that. And we're just going to use the auto crossbow one more time, and that's going to finish the fight. Normally, if you're playing this casually, your first instinct is probably going to be to have Terra cast fire on the enemy. But the thing is, if she casts fire, it actually activates a cutscene where Edgar and Locke have a whole dialogue about how Terra can use magic, and they're like, magic? And it's just like a minute of them being in shock that they just saw magic. And so that takes up a minute of our speedrunning time, so yeah, you don't want to cast fire in that fight. We actually don't want to cast fire in any random battles coming up either, because the cutscene can actually happen in a random battle, but we won't have to worry about that. Edgar's going to be our main damage dealer for the next little bit. His auto crossbow is the most powerful thing we have access to for the moment. So we get to ride chocobos for a little bit here. We'll get to ride them again later. But I'm going to save here. I don't actually think I need to, but just getting in the habit of throwing some safety saves around here and there, just in case anything happens. Yeah, Kefka is definitely the baddies in this game. So yeah, we just go through this cave here. Normally I know exactly which enemies I'm gonna get encounters with. Here I'm just kind of winging it. Basically, I want to take a couple of fights in here. I want to get experience, and I also do need to get some gold, because we're going to be buying sprint shoes in the next town. Sprint shoes make you run faster, which is important for obvious reasons in a speedrun. yeah, uh, we probably run away from this. Yeah, I'm just gonna run away from them. We're not gonna get much from this fight, and we already took 2, so I think we're fine on money here. Famous last words. You can absolutely get into South Figaro with not enough money to buy sprint shoes, and it makes things really awkward. We'll definitely have enough to buy some sprint shoes, but we want to buy 3 pairs. Yeah, we have enough to buy 3 pairs. So we're going to put everybody in the back row, because auto crossbow and fire both do just as much damage from the back row as they do from the front. And then we're going to, if you liked the chocobos a minute ago, have more chocobos. Chocobo moves a little bit faster, but most importantly, you don't get into any battles when you're on Chocobo, so it's faster just for that reason alone. Alright, I guess I can take this battle. Again, I'm off step route, so I don't know exactly how many battles I need. Probably could have skipped this one, actually, but... I'm playing it a little bit safe here. Because, again, we need to get a certain amount of experience for... Sabin to be able to learn Suplex. I'll run from this one. There are some better fights coming up that'll probably give us better experience, so... I'm going to go in here and I'm going to get the Atlas Armlet, which is going to increase Edgar's damage. 986. Probably have enough experience that we can just, like... basically, I want to get Terra 1 more level. And I think that's really all we need. Might get one for Locke as well, we'll see. Playing it a little bit safe with levels here because there is a boss battle coming up with Ultros later on that can be a pretty tough fight, and if you're not leveled well enough, then bad things can happen. But, yeah, not too much going on here besides, you know, just walking and taking an occasional grind fight. So, if you haven't heard about the Lady Arcaders, yeah, this is the raid train for the Lady Arcaders. So they're a group for women and femmes in gaming. So if you enjoy gaming, then... and you're a woman or femme, check them out. If you're not a woman or femme, definitely, like, give them a follow, and, you know, you can definitely tune into their events. They usually run a couple of shows a week, and they have larger, like, in-person events, and that's part of what this raid train is for, to raise money for their upcoming in-person events. I believe they're planning to do Out of Bounds in Toronto again during Toronto Games Week, so that's really cool. Need to do some menuing here, actually. But yeah, if you don't enjoy gaming, but you play games anyway, then definitely check out the Lady Arcaders. Yeah. If you type exclamation LA train, that should give you some more information. And if you type exclamation LA donate in chat, then that'll give you the donation link to their Ko-fi. So definitely, if you have a little money to chip in, that would be very much appreciated. I'm not going to be able to make it out to Toronto this year for that, but definitely planning to watch at home, and yeah, definitely hoping they have a great time with that. I've been part of the Lady Arcaders for a while. I don't know how long exactly. I was part of last year's raid train, so I know I've been there at least a year. But yeah, they're a really cool and welcoming community, and even if you don't like speedrun or stream at all, they're just a cool place to hang out. Really, you know, really happy that I joined. And yeah. So we're going to be coming up on our next boss battle here. This is going to be with Vargas. Vargas is just like, you know, I guess he was a friend, question mark, of Sabin's, but he betrayed his master, and he's right there. Yeah, we're good on levels now. Should be fine. But yeah, so he's another, like, big punchy guy. And he just, like, has pet bears, I guess. So we have to fight his bears before we can fight him. Like, it won't allow you to target him until we take out these bears, so we have to do that. Let's see. Just use auto crossbow here. And, so we're not going to be able to beat this fight with just our party here. Eventually he's going to use some techniques on us that are going to blow us all away, so we're going to need a little help, and this is where Sabin is going to show up and join us. So again, Sabin likes to punch things, so that's exactly what he's going to do here. We're going to use his special blitz technique, which is just a fancy way of punching things. So I need to left, right, left. So I pressed left too early. Blitzes, you're supposed to, like, input, like, a button combination, like it's a fighting game. So he's, like, sort of a fighting game-inspired character. But you have to be careful because you press A to select Blitz, and then you input the button combination. But if you're too fast starting on the button combination, then it won't work. You have to press A, and then pause very briefly, and then input the button combination. And so even though the combination is just like left button, left button, it's very easy to just like do it a little bit too early. But it's alright. We beat Vargas. And we got Sabin in our party. And he's gonna sort of join the rebellion here. So we now have a full team of 4 people. And we're gonna go meet up with Bannon, who is the leader of the rebellion. Even though he's the leader, he's actually kind of a minor character. And he's going to join us temporarily, but it's basically going to be like an escort mission. So, you know, like if he dies, then it's game over for the whole party. So that's going to be a little annoying, but usually casually it's not too big of a deal because you can just use his healing spell. But we're doing a speed run, so we're a little bit lower level than you'd normally expect to be, so yeah, this next fight coming up could turn out to be a little dicey. We'll see how it goes. But for now, there's just going to be kind of some dialogue. I can just set auto-fire and, you know, type some things in chat. Yeah, so again, Kefka, Terra is kind of, just like, really, like, considering, like, whether she wants to join the rebellion or not. Just, like, whether she wants to get involved in all this. Bannon's really kind of pushing her to join, and she's like, well, I don't know, and the other characters are kind of just like, hey, make up your own mind. It's interesting, Sabin there says, like, you can trust my brother no matter what. He's never lied to me. So, fun fact, he actually finds out later in the game that Edgar totally did pull a trick on him when they were kids. And it's actually kind of funny if you... Oh. I really need to pay attention to things. Okay. So, I was supposed to select the other dialogue option there. So... this is gonna be, we're gonna have to improvise a little bit here. I was supposed to get a different item there, and I don't need it, but I'm definitely supposed to have it for the run. So, just thinking a little bit about how I'm gonna do this now. I think I know what I'm gonna do. Like, normally I'm supposed to equip the Genji glove on Edgar, and he gets to attack for a bunch of damage. Instead, I'm going to keep him in the back row and have him continue to use the auto crossbow. So that means we're going to get less damage, and I'm just going to save before the Ultros fight and hope for the best. This will be good practice for just in case I really screw things up somehow. I'll have to remember in the future to save more frequently, like save right before this whole bit. Okay, so sprint shoes on. Okay. Save. Reset. Everything should be the same in terms of seating here, so yeah. Get this. Stand here. Now. Okay, if I did that right, I will only get 2 random battles on the Elite River here. So hopefully I did that right. This looks like the right formation here, so that's encouraging. Let's see. I'm gonna level up Edgar here, even though he doesn't have the glove. I don't know how much it's actually gonna help, but I'm just gonna have him gain a level, and that should increase his damage output. I don't know how much it'll do with the auto crossbow, but I'm just going to try that. Sure, I'll just save. There's another save point coming up in just a little bit, and if I'm on the step route right, then I could have just waited for that one, but yeah, okay. So we'll heal up, and we'll try to make it through Ultros. We're saved right before him, so if things go wrong, we have a safety. Really trying to keep Terra alive for this. at least long enough to get a few attacks in with her. Because Ultros really likes to pick on Terra in this fight, especially if you have her cast fire. I think we're going to be okay, though. That's all for Ultros. So, the fight was just a little bit slower there, but went okay. And so, remember what I said about Sabin being a himbo? Yeah, he just jumps in the water after the octopus. So Sabin's gonna go on a little bit of a detour here. So what happens here is the game splits into 3 scenarios, so we can pick which one we want to do in which order. So there's Sabin, Locke, and the other 3. We're going to do Sabin first. He has the longest scenario here, and kind of the most interesting one. So he's going to join up with Shadow the Ninja here. So Shadow, Shadow's pretty cool. Even cooler is his dog, Interceptor, who will occasionally attack for us. Like do like a counterattack or something. We don't have to have Shadow join, but there's not really much downside to having him join up right now. It does add like a little bit more extra dialogue that we could skip if we just took Sabin, but he gives us a little more damage output and a little more safety just because there's one more character in the party and, you know, just one more person to take damage. I'll go ahead and do a safety save here. This next part should be really safe. I'm not worried about it, but it's all pretty long, so just gonna go ahead and do that. Just in case I really mess something up somehow, but I think it'll be fine. So there's a lot of dialogue here between soldiers, and we can just sit back and let auto-fire do its thing for a minute. So Kefka's here again. So we're gonna have another little encounter with Kefka. But first, we're going to meet Cayenne, who's going to be joining us in just a little bit. He's going to get his own little solo fight here, just to introduce him. So Cayenne is a samurai. In the original English translation, they kind of localize him as like a medieval knight rather than a samurai, but it doesn't really make sense, you know, like he's clearly a samurai, like that's clearly like samurai, like, you know, inspired music, and, you know, his attacks, he uses a samurai sword and all that. But, you know, that's just how they were localizing things at the time. So we're going to put battle speed up to 1 for this fight, because we're going to use Retort, which is a counterattack ability. So we want this enemy to attack quickly. So that just means Retort happens a little bit faster. So Cayenne takes out the leader of this Imperial force here, and they all run away. So here we meet General Leo. So General Leo is sort of supposed to be the good general in the Empire, which is kind of just wrong. Like, they're clearly an evil empire that is trying to take over the world. Like, there are no good guys in this army. But Leo is, you know, he's nicer. He doesn't want to poison the Domans. He just wants to attack them and invade them. You know, in a nice way, I guess. And Kefka is the, like, more, like, I guess the greater of two evils here, where he just wants to poison them and, you know, he doesn't care who he kills on the way to world domination. Yeah, we don't like either of these people. But General Leo is interesting, just, like, because there is a whole, like, bit where he sort of joins the party later on, and, like, temporarily, and there's a long-standing rumor that you could, you know, if you did all the right things, there was a way to get him, like, as a permanent party member. And, you know, it wasn't true. There's no way to get him as a permanent party member, despite what you might have seen before this run. The only way to actually get him, like, into your party properly is by using a Game Genie or using glitches. Personally, I did it with glitches, but either way works. Okay. I knew I needed to do something else. Okay, so we set battle speed back to 6 there. So yeah, those last couple of fights were special because, again, Kefka was technically considered in the party for those fights, even though you were attacking him. That's never happened before. I've never had Shadow die in that fight. So that's actually fine. He'll get revived pretty soon. There will be a recovery spring in the next area. It's gonna make these next few fights a little awkward, though. Since we're gonna have just Sabin and Cayenne. So we'll see how that goes. I guess this is just going to be one of those runs where we just improvise and we see what happens. You know, it's good to have a run like that where you kind of run things out a little bit. And just see, like, you know, it's like, okay, bad things are happening, but at least I know, like, if this happened, you know, if this happens, I know what to do next time. Just going to sit through a little bit more dialogue here. And then we're going to go over to this room and sit through just a little bit more dialogue. And in the meantime, I'm going to get a little bit of water. Yeah, remember to hydrate. Okay, so here's where Sabin and Cayenne are gonna meet up. So again, we'll see how this goes here with Shadow down. These first couple of fights are really straightforward, so you can just attack, attack, attack. Yeah, this one again, there's 4 of them, but we can still just attack, attack, attack. Keeping an eye on everybody's HP, since they might take a little more damage now. So Cayenne, you know, being a samurai, he doesn't know how to work machines, like, at all. But, we're gonna get in a few Magitech fights here, and he's gonna do just fine, even though in character he doesn't really know how to work these things. I guess even if you don't know what you're doing, he can figure out how to press the button that says fire on it, you know? These fights are generally not too threatening. Again, I'm keeping an eye on Sabin's HP, but I'm not too concerned here, really. Looks like everything should be fine. And should be just one more fight here. So after this, we'll be done with Magitech armor, and just go back to traveling on foot. So we'll be heading into the Phantom Forest, and then we're going to get on the train. So we need to make sure I do my step route correctly here. And if I miss a step somewhere, it's not super critical. I'll just, since we got a dead character, I might as well just safety save, just in case anything weird happens, I guess. But yeah, we got a recovery spring right there, so that's why I wasn't too worried about Shadow. And in fact, now that I think about it, like with the step route, that walk there will be safe every time. Alright, so we're on board the train. We're still a couple minutes away from suplexing it, but we are going to be suplexing it because you gotta suplex the train. So again, Sabin, you know, Big Himbo just kind of barges right into the, basically, like, train of doom, like, it's supposed to be like the train that dead people get on, like, to, you know, go to the netherworld or whatever. And Sabin doesn't know anything about that. He's just like, looks like a train, let's hop on board! And so the party kind of explains that to him, and he's like, maybe I don't want to be on this train now. Okay, I actually intentionally took an extra step there to get this encounter instead of a different one. So like I said, since we did the reset, I am back on step route now. And I'll probably intentionally go off step route a little bit to take an extra safety save here. Because I did promise y'all a train suplex, and I want to make sure that happens. So these ghosts walking around are actually NPCs who you can interact with. Some of them are enemies, but some of them will have shops. Some of them will even join your party temporarily. You can even get 2 of them if you don't bring Shadow. Those ghosts there actually give you food. If you want to eat the... If you want to eat the cooking of the undead, I guess. But, you know, like, you can eat it, and it restores your HP, like, so... we don't need that. It's a little too slow for us to actually use in this run, but... Yeah. Okay, so... I did pick up the earrings there. We'll need them for just a little extra damage from Sabin coming up later. And I'm just gonna stop in this car for a safety save. Like I said, for this run, it's fine if I'm a few steps off the step route. So here we're at the front of the train, and we're gonna get in a fight with the train. And that, you know what that means. It's time to suplex the train! Alright. Let's see if I can get the suplex first try here. Alright, we got it. So the suplex is just totally for fun. We can just take out the train with a Phoenix down, and it just insta-kills the train, or insta-revives it. I don't really know how that works, but yeah, if you, like... Bringing the train back to life kills it, because it's undead. Because, you know, gaming logic. So yeah, we got to suplex a train, so no matter what happens from here on out, the run is valid. So there's kind of a bittersweet scene here where Cayenne, like, we see some of the departed, like, boarding the train to the afterlife, and Cayenne sees his wife and son, who recently died, gets to say goodbye to them. It's, you know, a really sad scene. And it just kind of, like, this cutscene plays out, and then we get control of Sabin, but we just kind of have to wait for Cayenne to, like, sort of collect himself. So we can actually do some menuing while we're waiting for Cayenne to grieve. So, you know, gets a little bit of dialogue here. There's like a slow fade to black, I believe. Yeah. So we can menu. Give him the earrings and the True Knight to set up the next fight here. I'll bring the Phoenix down up top. Tonic and bottom. So yeah, a little bit of a... Also, sorry for the poison here. Just making the screen awful. One annoying thing is, like, after Tara leaves the party, there's, like, no way to cure poison. I was supposed to unequip Cayenne there. I think it's fine if I don't. I'll just make it a little harder to do this next bit here. So, we're going to use Cayenne's retort ability again here, but it's going to be glitched. So we're going to unequip that shield. We're going to attack Cayenne, because we actually want to take him out here. And that's just to set up the glitch. It's going to take a little longer, because he still has his armor on, but... shouldn't be too much of an issue. Okay, so what you just saw there was a desperation attack that Cayenne did because he was low on HP. I don't think that's going to affect anything here, but we just bring Cayenne back to life here. And when he comes back to life, it allows for a glitch here when we use the retort ability. So like I said earlier, retort is a counterattack ability, but it usually only triggers when he is attacked directly. But if he dies, it changes. Oh, that... Wait, that's bad. So that enemy screwed up the glitch that I was trying to pull off. I can just try to finish the fight here, but... so you're supposed to skip this enemy here. I kind of want to just reset and do it right, but I also don't want to because that would mess up the seating for the belt, so we're just gonna go with this. So this run is extremely scuffed right now, but, you know, that's how it goes. Also, this is the second time that Sabin has been seen just kind of drifting down a waterfall because he just decided to jump for it. And it's the second time and not the last. So foreshadowing for the next little part here. So Gau's not going to join our party just yet. We're going to have to walk around and find him, basically. Fortunately, with the seeding, it'll make it a little easier for us to find him, but what we have to do first is we have to take a walk here to the nearest town. We don't actually need anything from this town, except we need to buy dried meat from the item store. Basically, we just need to give Gau some food so that he trusts us. So if I had been on perfect step route, I would have encountered those hornets on the way out of the town. that's kind of a minor thing. There's another fight that we can use to find Gal right here. Oh, this is different. Like I said, this run is a little scuffed right now. But it doesn't matter, we got Gaul. We need to give him the dried meat. And we need to wait for a little bit of dialogue here. So there's a whole scene here where Gaul is this child who is like raised in the wild, and you know, he talks with Cayenne, who's very formal, and Sabin is just struggling to figure this out. Like, but Gaul is going to take us to basically a cave where he has a treasure that, you know, I guess they figure whatever his treasure is might help them get back to where they're supposed to be. Like, Sabin is trying to rejoin the other members of the rebellion, and Cayenne is just kind of like, well, if you're going to fight the Empire, then I'm right there with you. So they all kind of team up to go join the rebellion. We have a little tutorial scene here that's unskippable about how Gaul's abilities work. So Gaul doesn't have, like, normal fighting and everything. He, like, emulates monster attack patterns. It makes him kind of annoying to use casually because you can't select, like, who he attacks or anything, or you can't have him heal. But, you know, I mean, the abilities are powerful. We're getting back attacked here, so that's a little annoying. So an annoying thing that can happen on the Veldt is you can get encounters that you can't run from. With the seed that we're on, I shouldn't get any of that, but you can get one if you go far enough off step route. You can get a pincer attack, or yeah, pincer attack that you can't run from. Yeah, I think we just go for this. Yeah. So Gaul is trying to remember where he put his treasure. His treasure is going to turn out to be a diving helmet that they somehow all share, so that they can all breathe underwater, because once again, they're going to ride the waterfall, because that's just Sabin's life now. I don't know exactly how that's supposed to work, but whatever, they, you know, maybe there's actually 3 diving helmets and they all put them on or something. Nobody quite understands what the mechanics of it are. But, yeah, they all jump in the water. Gaul's scared of the water, I guess. So they kind of laugh at him. Just kind of like, we do this all the time now! So we're gonna kind of float down this river here. There are a couple of branching paths. We go right on the first one and left on the second one. And we do get into fights. That fight's actually dangerous. So we take it out with an aura bolt. If you get back attacked by that one Anguiform, it can actually just one-shot your whole party. So that's why I did a safety save before this. But the rest of these fights we can just run from pretty safely. It is possible to get pincer attacked, and also Cayenne is just really slow, so he has a tendency to lag behind whenever you try to run away. Sometimes this can really troll us, but so far it's being pretty cooperative. So despite this run being a little scuffed, we're definitely going to be able to complete it within the time slot for the raid train. No worries about that. Definitely not going to be a PB or anything, but yeah, this will all be fine. So we're going to buy some smoke bombs. Smoke bombs let you instantly run from fights, and we're basically just going to be running from everything for the next little while. So we're just going to buy a bunch of smoke bombs. They're going to be especially helpful for Locke's scenario, which is coming right up. So like I said, Sabin's scenario is the longest. Locke's scenario is going to be the shortest in this case, because we're going to skip most of it. So there's kind of one of the most famous glitches in this game can be done in Locke's scenario. So normally Locke kind of infiltrates the town and he puts on some disguises and learns some intel and learns that the Empire is planning to invade Narshe. And we're not going to do any of that, because we're just going to clip through that soldier and just leave. So we don't do any of the stuff we're supposed to do in the town, and that includes not joining up with Celis. Smoke bomb can go here. Really hope I don't get poisoned. I do have a remedy in my inventory, I believe, so I could potentially use that if I get poisoned, but poison is really bad. This part. And welcome, sweet peeps. Sorry if I'm not seeing people's chat messages right away. I do have to focus on this run a good bit of the time when it's not, you know, in cutscenes. But yeah, we skipped getting Celis entirely, so Locke has to solo this part. Normally, you're supposed to use Celis's runic ability to get through the boss battle here, but since we won't have her at all, we have to pick up that Thunder Rod, and we're going to use that Thunder Rod to basically one-shot the boss. You can actually just break a Thunder Rod, and it casts Bolt 2 with a very high magic stat. You'll also notice in the dialogue there, Celis's line was said by Kutan. If you remember, Kutan was one of the Mughals. So because of the way that they manage memory in this game, when Celis joins your party, she actually overwrites Kutan in the game's memory. So one of the consequences of the glitch that I used is that for the rest of the game, Celis is replaced by Kutan the Mughal. Kutan is not very useful, but fortunately, there's not too much of this run left, so we're not really going to need Celis. Because basically, the only fight that we have left is the final showdown with Kefka. There's no boss battle in Terra and Banon's scenario here. It's, again, pretty quick. Because we just, like, walk into Narshe here. And we can't go straight into Narshe, we have to use the secret entrance, because if we just try to walk straight in, then the guards say, no, you can't be in here. So we have to sneak in and kind of find our contact. But yeah, once this scenario is finished, then the whole party kind of joins together for a big, like, epic showdown with Kefka and entire, like, legion of Imperial soldiers. Really good that we had smoke bombs here because of the pincer attack. Otherwise, we would have had to actually fight that. So normally you have to follow the light here the whole way around the maze, but it turns out that you only have to do half of it. If you hold A, we can actually take a shortcut up here. So if I just walk to the north here while holding A, I will get through that every time. And we'll kind of walk back through the area where the Mughals joined us, and hey, it's the Mughals again. They don't join us right now, but it's always nice to see the Mughals. We love the Mughals. So we went that way because there's no encounters, but also because you get that rune edge. The rune edge actually isn't useful because I didn't get the Genji glove. So yeah. Guess we'll just fight Kefka with an auto crossbow. See how that works out for us. Alright, so there's going to be a kind of a long cutscene here. We will see Kutan kind of filling in for Celis here in a second. A lot of this dialogue is kind of entertaining with Kutan substituted for Celis. Just like Kutan becoming the infamous Imperial General. So again, here we see the just like giant legion of Imperial soldiers that Kefka is bringing to wage war against Narshe and go after the frozen Esper that we saw earlier. So we're all kind of headed up the mountain to have the big battle here. We're definitely going to safety save before this. Even under the best of circumstances, Kefka is a formidable challenge at the end of this, and he can just one-shot our entire party with Ice 2, so we want to make sure we avoid that. There's really nothing we can do about it except do a safety save and hope for the best. No, we don't want a tutorial. We're just going to go straight into this. We're going to take Edgar, Sabin, Cayenne, and Gaw. The other two parties are not going to matter. So once again, we're going to attempt to avoid all of these little enemy formations that are walking around. And most of them are pretty easy to sneak by. But then there's one at the end that is going to be running back and forth. And that one's going to be a challenge. So if I just stand here, those green soldiers will just walk right past me. And then if I stand over here, these soldiers will walk past. There is a faster way to sneak by these, but it's really dicey, and most runners don't do it. Alright, go! We got it. Alright. So we were able to skip the rider battle and get straight to Kefka. And we're gonna see how this goes with Edgar using auto crossbow. Basically, we're just trying to deal as much damage as we can, as fast as we can. Before Kefka uses really powerful spells to take us out. Even gonna throw a potion here. That might not help any, but if Kefka doesn't use Ice 2 on the whole party, which he did, just as I'm saying it, completely wiped. If he uses Ice 2 on just one party member, that's not really a concern, but yeah, if he uses it on the whole team, then party is just insufficiently leveled for dealing with that. If you have Celis in your party, Celis can use Runic to make that fight safer. So like in a glitchless run, you can use Runic, but in this category we don't bring Celis, so you can't use it. I guess it would be possible to bring Celis as a safety strat, but it's probably faster to just safety save anyway. Alright. This might take me a few tries with Edgar not having the right weapons. Like, it definitely should be possible, but Kefka is no joke in this run. Bolt's better than Ice 2, but it still does a fair amount of damage. Alright, we did it. We beat Kefka. Alright, so that is the run. I will just, like, keep playing. until we're ready to raid here. But as for the actual speed run, that was the run. It was an hour 40, which is definitely not my best work, but I usually get a pretty consistent, like 130 to 135. But you see what happens here if I make a few mistakes and get a little bit of bad luck. But we'll play out this cutscene here. See how far I can get in the next 10 minutes. Definitely be sure to stick around for the rest of this, though. Lots of cool stuff coming up on the raid train. So the Valiant Sun and Quacksilver are going to be doing a speedrun exchange. So I don't entirely understand how that's going to work. I'm guessing they're going to be like teaching each other speedruns, or maybe just doing like blind attempts or something. I don't know. I just know it's going to be a lot of fun. They're very cool and talented people, so definitely check that out. And then after that, we're going to have Jarracandra, so if you were enjoying the RPG speedruns, Jerrica runs a lot of RPGs from the same era. Like I know she runs Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy IV DS, so definitely check that out. Definitely give her a follow if you're into that. And I believe Elite Spud is after that, who I'm also a big fan of. I'm a big fan of just like so many people in this raid train. It's such a cool thing. I always love to be a part of it. I don't know. I guess we'll take Kutan just for fun here. I don't even know what we're gonna do, but we're just gonna. I guess we'll walk and fight some stuff. But yeah, like, definitely follow the Lady Arcaders on Twitch and on Blue Sky. You can also check out their Discord just to like keep up with the raid train and you know, see where it's going and everything. But this it's going to be running through the whole weekend, so through Sunday, and then it's going to be looping back to the Lady Arcaders main channel for attract mode at the end. And there's just like, I could, you know, I could just read off the whole schedule and tell you how cool I think everything is. But yeah, definitely really excited for it. Yeah, alright, yeah, I know we're gonna be raiding the Valiant Sun. But yeah, be sure to follow both of them. They're both really, really talented and really, really cool people. And I hope you enjoyed this Final Fantasy VI run. I do run like mostly RPGs, so like I run this, and I also run Cassette Beasts, and I'm looking to get back into Final Fantasy IV, which I used to run many years ago. Final Fantasy IV, I used to run Paladin %. Might look into other categories and other cool stuff I might be able to do with that. Also looking to learn other categories of this run. I've really been enjoying Kefka at Narshe. I would really like to get into No Sketch and some other stuff. Alright, yeah, we can go ahead and raid in early, I guess, if we're ready to go.